Ah yes, the High Warlord's battle gear. Originally put into the game as a reward for account sharing, the classic WoW PvP gear was quite the slapper. The new millennium saw a staggering influx of women entering the workforce, which is an amazing thing, because it allowed for a staggering influx of dads into Alterac Valley. Social progress is beautiful, and so is the set, so let's remake it. Armor in WoW is mostly just a texture plastered over your character model. Think Filthy Frank's pink guy. As a result, the 3D work here would mostly come down to redoing the shoulders and helmet, and adding whatever extra bits and bobs I felt like. With every model you've seen me do, the difficult part is not the modeling, but rather the texture work. When it comes to armor sets, this is more true than ever, but we'll get to that later. Now dear friends, I hear you thinking, you're doing the Horde set first? Does that mean Tom finally got rid of his alliance bias? Yes. Well, no. I did the Horde one first because I might suck more in my first attempt. But don't let that stop you from donating to my Patreon, as well as subscribing, liking the video, and leaving a comment. Even a super thanks if you're feeling wacky. I have some stuff planned that I think you'll find well worth sticking around for, but I won't say too much. In recent years, Blizzard have been adding more and more 3D pieces to their armor sets, especially when they go in the store. This opened up the door to me adding some more of my own touches to this bad boy. The blades on the back are the thing that really set this armor apart for me. For this reason, when I decided to make my very own nifty 3D belt buckle, I tried to further build on this visual element. I struggled with designing on the fly, so it was a process of just messing around until I shit out something worthy of existence, similar to what my conception was a failure of. And after some hard labor, I had upgraded the model of the High Warlord battle gear. Ladies and gentlemen, behold. Having my model finished and UV unwrapped, it was time to move on to the next step. I know damn well that this is not gonna prevent anybody from asking me anyway, but for those wondering, the program that I'm using is 3D Code. 3D. A microphone. 3D Code. After loading my model into Substance Painter, I began by laying down a base layer for all my textures, which was actually kinda tricky. Why, you ask? Because for some reason, this armor set looks like someone ate a bunch of forest fruits and then vomited on an orc. Seriously, the colors are all over the place. It didn't look like that as much in game for some reason, but it sure did here. I went in later to correct it all, but boy. Anyway, if you've ever wondered why you've never seen me redo an armor set before this, here's why. Texture painting is hard. Matter of fact, it's by far the hardest thing you've seen me do on this channel. When you make a mount, you can show them from nice and far away, meaning I get away with far higher levels of garbage. If you go to my earlier videos and pay a closer look to the actual like painting on a technical level, you'll see what I'm talking about. You know, you zoom in on those and I'll tell you, it gets pretty rough. On an armor set, I feel like your work needs to be a lot more crisp, meaning you need to be a lot more crisp. Feel me? On top of that, armor tends to have a lot more 3D detail that you need to paint onto a flat 2D surface. Painting fake 3-dimensionality, also not easy. However, throughout the videos I've made, my brain has gotten some practice. So at last, I decided to quit being a coward and go for it. Besides, despite the challenges, there's some parts of doing armor that are actually very convenient. Remember how I said that most of it is just a texture plastered over your character? Well, my updated version would work the same way, meaning I could simply paint right over the old one for a lot of the process. This saves me a ton of time in blocking it all out, which is good, because this stuff takes a lot of work and I'm a lot of slow. And with all that said, I'd completed the base coat of my textures, taking me from this to this. Yeah. I wanted the metal to look nice and beat up. This wasn't Alliance armor, this was Horde armor, and Horde are stupid, which should be reflected in their craftsmanship. I mean, the fact that no one questioned this design, given it's intended for races famous for having trouble fitting through doors. Eugenics aside, making things too smooth or too perfect is a common trap many artists fall into. Whenever you make something, you want to think about how the object would actually be used, especially when you're making something like armor, for which the entire purpose is people hitting it very hard. Take your car into battle and see what it looks like afterwards, given it's not a lot. As I alluded to earlier, I plan on expanding the content of my channel into more areas. I have many more ideas that I want to explore, ideas that go far beyond updating some old mounts, or armor for that matter. My channel would be nothing without you guys, so when I take these decisions, I want to take you into account. Once my Twitter grows a bit, I want to use it as my primary means to communicate with you guys. Asking questions, answering yours, doing polls and whatnot to see what you guys think, as well as giving some updates. However, if you have any suggestions or ideas, I also do read the comments here on YouTube. And on Asmon's channel, because let's face it, that's where most of my views are. Which, to be clear, I'm not complaining. I love that shit. God, is it fun to watch those. A massive shout out to all my patrons that are crazy enough to give a degenerate like me their hard-earned money. Thanks for being awesome. Yeah, trolls are kinda, I don't know, for warriors, I just felt like I should have one in there, you know?